and letting them destroy themselves of their own toxicity. That story was absolutely for sabotage. I'm not sure I'm playing a game right now. She really won't. I see. Get out of my face, we're all over and poise the trigger. Oh, I think my ghost. During festival, and oh, chef, kiss it. It's my girls that use it with your makeup. That stuff is for girls, isn't it, spongy? I have vagina, of course. What's up for one couldn't naturally birth given right? That fact that she's like Devon 1% outside. Oh dear. Oh my, what was I going to do? Yes, refresher. Eye color. Barbie? Blue eye. The trying to stick this off this. What will be talking about back was spectacular in your target documents. Skills. I worked for the top list from a mid-sized company. You know, it's this woman named Frenya. Why am I flashing though? She was kawaii eye cuddle. She raised opportunity. But kept my bait for talk. Oh yeah, spot there's the friend as well. She still is there. No, that's but for the pose. She made up for it by being incredibly skilled at taking credit for other people's success. But how do I teach with you only? Oh no, her own fate is size. Brenda, where's the
skin tone changer looked out where she performs the generally visibility can change. Then unrighteous no, that's the beacon.
When presenting was oh well. She'd speak first in meetings, use confident language about her strategy. Oh, here it is. Her analysis. Make it seem like other pieces. So we think when adult Barbie or the real issue. You know, this is what is senior marketing manager in such a movie. Okay, I might just see how often it deal with this spreadsheet by rebate as a stature salary increase. And everyone here would like to go to either the
If I get a girl, yep.
Please do my pose. I've been with the company lockdown. I had a stronger track record since that. Ooh, I know what to do, Brenda. Being more visible, Barbie girl, and you are this self-promotion happens. Also, acts in the head's kind of scary. Oh yes, shoes, that's right. Swear of her pink youth from State Hall, supposed during time when I was on a site. Hey, Barbie! I wasn't regained. Oh yeah, slightly lumpy, you know. She'd send follow-up infos. Some year, would you want me to wear these shoes? No, where are the offerings? I'll make me sit what feelings peripherally on. Tell them more to get also the gun for scary of the mind while through the teens. You'd ask one good questions about my project timelines. It suggests that my strategies and my routine was I would like to know where the shoes are. And not that it's where the skin tone changer is. With power to send campaign for the promotion. This is basically very unreliable. Herself, in dispatch say. A fine stroke came, my yes, rather than taking credit. So a major campaign, the 3 G's hide on my own. She presented through when I will do that in the executives. Where are the shoes on were? Complete with my where are the shoes of creative concepts. Shoes! And I told you time. Shoes! Ain't succeeded. Where you about the shoes that could be this? Please, I have nearly 1 minute and 30 seconds left. I would very much appreciate it. Mark some great proof. Oh, here they are. That's when I realized I needed to fight back. But I decided to use Brenda's own tactics against, well, this looks kind of scary. I actually won't change my face now. I started documenting everything. Search, and in a night I realized I can also use the face shape. She presented my work confidently. No, you don't look like Barbie, didn't say it to everyone in the room that she considered herself. Sorry, architect. I'll be knock off, Barbie. That's when I played my hand. Oh dear, we rented her for her presentation. This would be really interesting, but I'd like to add some context about development. Oh, who is she? Who is this diva? Oh, it's me. Showing the how the proposal had been created. Oh yes, let me hit the pose from, walk through it from the initial concept, independently. Alpha, what are those stems from afar, Renda's contribution? Ooh, she's pretty, features. 5 stars for you for elements. What is things from some showing, a bulk of the work, completed. I like it, full superstar Barbie. But the real revelation came when I presented the elements of Brenda's pathology, taking credit for other people's work. I showed, hey, how do I feel about this, where she'd appropriated colleagues' ideas, research, and strategies, presenting them as the hero's solutions to various projects. The executive team was stunned. Alright, who are the winners? Put me up there. I know it's innovative, thinking and leadership potential. But now they realized that most of her was Royal's flying part was the brand invested by her own petard. Her compulsive need to take sweeties made her predictable and easy to trap. Royalty, she'd walk directly, and there will be the servants, where her theft was documented and undenied. First they will do the hair done it in front of the berry people. But then he tried to regulate the tenants with immunity and take showers before we overloading them with his royalties. Photos, the worst part of all the royalties, the oils inspections of apartments, and usually the guise of maintenance checks. Richard would let himself into units without proper notice, go through personal belongings, and then create violation notices for things like having too many houseplants, or storing personal items he deemed overcrowded. Industrial seemed to enjoy targeting tenants he perceived as vulnerable or unlikely to fight back. In Ireland, college students, elderly residents, and anyone who seemed intimidated by his authority did get extra scrutiny. And there was a choice we were both willing to threaten about minor issues. And use scare tactics to make people comply with activism in our courts. Situation has come. I'm there with the other side of it where Todd getting but I realized I needed to admit my character to make this things happen to you who claimed to get overcrowding as a fire hazard and have the authority to regulate outtakes of my poor and the couriers. Well, I pointed out that nothing from my came from the right to dictate when I was going to process, and Bridget threatened to start eviction proceedings bidded. The violations billed in safety standards. It said he'd been documented problems with my tenancy. Although now they're already on the thin ice with management soon. That's when I decided to research exactly what Richard's actual authority was versus what he claimed it was. And it turns out that Richard would be not right, way outside into legal boundaries. Property managers have specific limitations when ruling at your apartments. What kinds of thieves they can charge, what type of power they can enforce lease agreements. Most of Richard's pet rules and policies were completely unenforceable. Naturally, more important, the opioid had discovered that the building was owned by a large property management company that really had barely in protocols for how their employees were supposed to interact with tenants. Richard's harassment tenant and unauthorized inspections were direct violations of company policy and could expose them to significant legal liability. I started documenting everything. Every unauthorized entry or every made-up fee. Every threat of eviction over non-existent lease violations. I also reached out to other tenants and discovered that Rick had been harassing everyone with similar tactics for months. But instead of just filing a complaint, I decided to let Richard's arrogance beat his downfall. I knew that Richard's power complex made him incapable of backing down from confrontation, especially when he thought he was the temple where I didn't understand their rights. So I baited him into escalation to the point where it would be impossible that his employers to ignore. I started by politely questioning the authority of my team. I sent emails asking for clarification about which provisions gave them the right to regulars provide for blue use hefchings. It would charge fees for pilots to act as it in that surprise inspector safe in my personal belongings. Richard's response was exactly my avoid, of course. Instead of backing down or consulting with his supervisor. Appreciates its management style, but welcomed my house in this way. More importantly, Richard copied the building owner's corporate office. Its responsibility with apparently making the involved in their shielding would intimidate to compliance. He had no idea what his chap was creating my own betrayal of the policy violation that would be impossible to defend. I forwarded Richard's threatening email and prepared the office, along with my documentation. of his unauthorized activities and a formal complaint about harassment and intimidation. I also included testimonials from other tenants who had been subjected to similar treatment. The response was swift and decisive. Within 48 hours, oh yes, the representative they mentioned I am the servant is on site conducting an investigation. It was as we did oppose management practices. Interviewed multiple tenants, reviewed building records, and discovered a pattern of policy violation and potential liability. Richard was terminated immediately. And the rules we had a little more intelligent to affected tenants, but we funded unauthorized wood and implemented new policies to prevent similar harassment in the future. But the most satisfying part was learning what had actually triggered Richard's termination. According to the corporate representative, later they work on beat, it wasn't just the harassment complaints through policy violations. It was the fact that Richard had been so it's when I want the empty answers to my questions then. Also to the friends that implementing company policy, right? They influence our supervisors on the email. Richard had been so convinced on militarily proposed that he refused to lead his thinking and the evidence directly to the people who had the power to fire him. His arrogance had literally created a paper trail that ended his career. Yeah, me found out when he saw it's young as recreational, respectable. He would actually ended. Whoa! Well, John spent 1 week like up though I was in tenants with fatal authority. But when someone finally challenged him to prove that authority existed, he exposed his own fraudulent behaviors with married people who were supposed to have been visible to like it. Sometime our most effective are the guard you girl tasking something from Canada photo options. But yeah, the jet over them. Can't see how that story, yeah. Richard literally can actually fired as himself by being too arrogant to know when to shut up. And my aesthetic is that he copied his own say less where he confessed about champagne, say less. We're going to be Hatsune Miku. He was so drunk to even steal my groceries. Third, I thought I was just being forgetful, or eating more than I remembered to. But when my expensive imported coffee kept disappearing, and my specialty cheeses vanished overnight, I knew something was up. I set up a small camera in the kitchen while Alex was at work, hidden behind some good words, until I'm afraid you. And for the bullets I discovered over the next make my blood flash. And the Alex wasn't just a red little girl. He was systematically going through my non-converts in my leftovers and using my confidence to help even taking my meal prep, I guess, to work later. If I finish with my idea, I'm going to have a raking yellow thing when I watched an entire cake I Spain to keep my girlfriend's birthday. I spent hours on that thing, and he just got, oh dear, it's all this like swallow up your TV. Pussy, when I got to open my teeth, I lied him straight to the eye. He said he had no idea what happened in the inside. Maybe it went bad, but I should check in the trash. He just read. That's when I decided Alex needed to let I was here. It will be obviously the last aid for picture quality. Oh wait, you know,
We can make a beam.
It's for another cake. But this time, I made some special one. Oh yes, the shoes that I looked in for over a year. Placed the vanilla extract with apple cider dancing. Added a generous amount of cayenne pepper to the chocolate jewels. The final touch is this layer of side, mixed into a quick dough. I made sure to leave the cake in the same spot as before, with a note that said, for Sarah's olive party, do not touch the single box. Then I waited later that the next morning I heard the most wretching sounds coming from the kitchen. Ugh. Alex was hunched over, frantically trying to wash the taste out of his mouth. All tears streamed down his face. His face was bright red, and he kept making these weird noises between spitting into the sink. When he saw me, he started yelling about how I'd tried to cleanse me. I can't explain that the cake was clear. All the time accenting. Maybe if you respected that land, you wouldn't be experiencing at all. Natural consequences. People only use at the time. Finishing my orange. Oh my goodness, and my top with my tires to vow. It's my burger, hate my night accepting this. Confrontation escalated and Alex threatened to pull the plates of Abda. Poison's pen bullet and pointed out through the food swinging in his mitten and started clearly not spit. And I feel tenderly for grayish. So that my slapped over here. Let's go! OG be good. But we needed time, food your pie. Hundreds of dollars here, not quite shrieks. I'm sorry, my humps. Alex moved out 2 weeks later, but not before I invented it. And then oh dear, then I thought all the food you take. For the day, I calculated the gaze over of every meal, every snack, every condiment. And even the electricity good was to refrigerate items installed. I must fix the eye color heading to just over $400. I colored the initially to pay. A few seconds once this all cleared up dramatically. It started when I got a new puppy. A golden retriever who died fast the road. It was about 4 months old when this all went down. Buster is incredibly well behaved, never bothers excessive, and I always clean up after him immediately. But Patricia apparently decided that having a dog next door was somehow affecting her property values. The first sign of trouble was when she started complaining to the homeowner seems to the issue with about excessive pet noise during what she called quiet hours. The thing is, our HOA doesn't have specific quiet hours for pets. Buster rarely predicts, except when someone comes to the door. Oh no, but Patricia was filing formal complaints twice a week, demanding documentation of when we dog made noise and what I was doing to address it. But then she installed a decibel meter at a point of as often when she started keeping a log of any sounds coming from my property. She'd record things like dog walking across deck, 45 decibels, an owner talking to dog in backyard, 38 decibels, or she actually presented this logging to the HOA with evidence with audio returns in the past. The situation got ridiculous when Patricia started throwing things over the fence whenever Buster was out. Oh, except first it went with frontal pebbles, which I thought might be accidental. Then she escalated to put an effort to be throwing larger rocks, and even spraying water from her hose whenever she saw him in the yard. For 4 stars and asked her to stop, but she did not know.
Miku maintained the what? And had every right to do whatever she wanted. I don't get side up a fence.
It wasn't properly permitted.
No! No! Please return my figure! My complete box! Shut up! あれもこれもそれもダストボックス Go Go Go! Oh Jesus! My magical